There are three words that best describe Logan Paul: outrageous, shameless, and dishonest. After the 2018 suicide forest scandal, Logan Paul did something that no one could have imagined. A return that is better, cleaner, and richer than ever. He went from being an angry YouTuber to a WWE star, co-founder of the $1 billion Prime Hydration brand, and a live example of how everyone can get a second chance. His business ideas were praised, and he was seen as a Gen Z comeback hero. Lionel Messi did file a case until everything fell apart again. Investors lost $18.5 million when the Crypto Zoo project went down. Logan worked hard for 5 years to rebuild the wall of trust, but it fell apart in just a few months. Lots of sorry messages, explanation videos, and offers of refunds started coming in. This time, though, the crowd wasn't mad, they were just let down. They had forgiven him and thought he had changed, but now they were wondering if Logan Paul had really grown up or just learned how to trick people. We'll look at Logan Paul's controversial rise from being an outsider on YouTube to $1 million star who was praised as a brilliant businessman, and then back to the image of a cold manipulator in this video. This isn't just the story of a YouTuber's fall, it's also a lesson about how to forgive and what happens when we trust someone too much. Logan Paul got his start in 1995 in Westlake, Ohio. He was more than just a content provider. He was a cultural figure of the digital age. He first showed up on Vine in 2013 and quickly became famous for his unique style, bold humor, and unmatched energy. Vine didn't fade away when he fell, he changed. His new stage was YouTube, where he turned vlogging into carefully planned, exciting, and dramatic theater. He made a world for Logan Paul by doing risky tasks, funny stunts, and real-life moments. Fans didn't just watch him, they followed him around like they were following an internet culture-changing hero. Logan quickly became a major figure for Gen Z. Creative, fearless, sure of themselves, and always going forward. Brands and the media were drawn to him because of how good-looking and confident he was. In just a few years, he gained tens of millions of followers on YouTube and other social media sites. He turned his personal power into a self-made media empire, showing how young people can break out in the digital age. Even after the 2018 Aokigahara forest scandal, in which he was criticized for shooting near the body of a suicide victim, Logan showed a lot of strength. Many people understood why he felt bad in the video where he said sorry and promised to do better. After that, he started to change, and he worked hard to rebuild his reputation as an adult, responsible person. In this day and age of media, he even became a figure of redemption, showing that even big mistakes could be fixed with bravery, honesty, and good behavior. Logan earned his fans' trust again, and they started to think he had really changed. But it all fell apart again. Not because of a rude joke or a silly video, but because of something much worse, taking advantage of trust to make money. This time, it didn't just cause trouble, it also cost thousands of people a lot of money. In August 2021, Logan Paul went on his impulsive show and was full of excitement as he talked about the NFT project Crypto Zoo. He wore a simple t-shirt but was full of confidence as he talked about the fun and profitable blockchain game. He said that players could buy digital eggs, hatch them into weird hybrid animals like Gorkitty, a gorilla cat, or Rickon, a rhino chicken, and earn prizes in zoo tokens. Logan said he had put $1 million into the project and had a huge group of people backing him up. The CryptoZoo website showed bright eggs and said that by 2022, the metaverse would be a good place to make money. Logan boldly called it a chance that would change his life, playing on the excitement of young investors and traders around the world about NFTs. Animals with each other to make things look fun. A lot of investors, mostly Logan Paul fans, put money into the project because they believed in his trustworthiness. But after just a few weeks, the metaverse dream started to fall apart. There were many problems with the way the method worked. Almost half of the eggs wouldn't hatch. The interface was buggy, the rewards that were promised didn't appear, and the prices of ZUO tokens dropped sharply. A lot of desperate texts came in on Discord. "My eggs aren't going to hatch. What is going on, Logan?" A businessman from Australia lost $500,000. Someone else, who was called Helicopter Bob, lost $7,000. A lot of smaller fans were let down by their hero and felt betrayed. It is thought that $18.5 million was lost, with $3 million coming from NFTs and $7.7 million from tokens. Quite a bit from the project. There were reports that developer Zach Kelly withheld the source code because he hadn't been paid yet, since he only showed up in 2022 with short messages like "yo" or "I'm awake and shaking my head." At the same time, Logan didn't seem to care about the community's pleas for help. He acted like he hadn't made the product. When CoffeeZilla, a YouTuber known for revealing fake projects, put out a 3-part series in December 2020, the situation went through the roof. 22 called looking into Logan Paul's biggest scam. CoffeeZilla found some very important problems. NFT images were stock shots that were edited quickly. The smart contract code was taken from FlokiShibX, a meme coin, and there was no proof that the $1 million payment was real. The people working on it, like Eddie Ibanez and Jake Crypto King Greenbaum, had ties to other cryptocurrency scams. The worst thing is that a wallet connected to Logan sold Zoo tokens before the project even started, which is a clear sign of a pump and dump scam. CoffeeZilla went into depth about how Crypto Zoo works in theory. Stress from the people grew. CoffeeZilla made his claims stronger on Joe Rogan's show, which got more people to listen. Under fire, Logan made a 7-minute film in January 2023 to answer Logan Paul's reaction to Alex's CoffeeZilla scam. Instead of saying sorry or making things clear, he went on the offensive, calling CoffeeZilla the Keemstar of crypto, denying selling anything, and saying again and again that the blockchain doesn't lie. He put the blame on his partners, calling Eddie a skilled con artist and Zach a convicted felon. He also said that he would sue CoffeeZilla for recording his manager without permission. A funny NFT duck image and the jab were the best parts of the movie. You are wrong. It would have taken you 1 second to look into it. The work used to be fair. You can't make good decisions because you're too hooked on clicks. You've made real mistakes that have real consequences. Coffee, you made fun of my name. In this video, I'm going to defend myself with facts, which is something you've started to do less and less as you change from an investigation channel to a talk channel. Too emotional, he told CoffeeZilla he was sorry and promised to return $1.3 million, or $1,000 per NFT. The white paper also said that he would bring the idea back to life. CoffeeZilla is not a bad person. He was called. I said sorry. When I first saw his series, I felt a fire, an ego, flair, or whatever it is, pride. I was on guard because I'm a fighter at heart. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry for how this has gone so far, and but doubts kept coming up. CoffeeZilla said that the return plan only applied to people who still had NFTs, not to people who sold them for less than they were worth or bought Zoo tokens. The apology was more about saving face than fixing the problem. Logan said he would buy back NFTs, but by January 2024, the program put strict rules on it. Investors had to give up their right to sue. The window was open for 1 month, but no one reported getting the money. By November 2024, a BBC investigation had shown that wallets connected to Logan had traded Zoo before the project's launch. This made pump and dump doubts even stronger. Logan turned down an interview and sent a clone to a gym to make fun of the BBC crew, which was seen as rude and careless. In August 2025, a class action case was still going on. It was being led by lawyer Tom. People have said that Logan blocked people on Twitter who were asking questions, avoided the media, and didn't do anything to fix the problems. People thought Logan Paul would step up, say sorry, make things right, or at least be honest with the community after the Crypto Zoo incident cost millions of dollars. But no, there was no clear reason, no plan to bring the project back to life, and no promise from the man who used to say that his fans would have a vision that would change their lives. So he wouldn't have to deal with the consequences. He quickly switched to a new project, co-founding Prime Hydration, a sports drink brand with KSI. The news called it a reputation lifeline, as if Crypto Zoo's bad name had been erased by a flashy new advertising campaign. Launched in early 2022, Prime Hydration was marketed as a healthy drink with low sugar and high potassium that was good for young people. It was co-founded by Logan Paul and KSI. Logan Paul enthusiastically supported the campaign spread like a virus on TikTok, YouTube, WWE, UFC, and even Bayern Munich Stadium, thanks to the huge influence of the two social media stars. Logan was always advertising Prime, from sports events to personal events like his wife's pregnancy, along with the new Lunchly product, a snack kit that goes with Prime drinks. These are the best meals in the whole world. We have the turkey, cheese, and bread stack for lunch every day. Also, the Fiesta Nachos, which are my favorite. Love. Every Prime bottle was sought after like a special trading card. This created an underground market in the UK where students sold bottles for extra money. The media praised Prime as Gen Z's favorite drink, hoping it could compete with Gatorade, Powerade, and Body Armor, but the excitement didn't last long. The truth came out as the marketing hype died down. People said that Prime, especially Prime Energy, put out false ads and wasn't honest. Can have 200 milligrams of caffeine, which is twice as much as Red Bull, but there were no clear warnings, and the ads were aimed directly at kids. After drinking it, a lot of students had trouble sleeping, heart palpitations, and trembling. A parent wrote on Reddit, "My 10-year-old drank a can of Prime and shook all night." The word Prime scam went viral on social media, making people angry again. Logan Paul wants to make Prime a great business and reach his own personal goal of becoming a billionaire. Logan, who allegedly owned 20% of the business, hoped that Coca-Cola or Pepsi would buy it for $5 billion, which would make him and KSI hundreds of millions of dollars. But his marketing strategies, like dressing up as a Prime mascot for fake basketball games and putting down rivals, were seen as cheap and pointless. There's no bias there, but ours is much better. You can choose from water drinks that are either A, bad for you, B, taste awful, or C, so old-fashioned they're funny. This Gatorade has been around for 15 years and makes you feel good. It's awful because it has so much sugar. Yes, sir. Why hasn't anyone come up with a drink that works well, is cheap, and is better for you? But these bravado couldn't hide the fact that Prime had a hard time competing with well-known names. Okay, of Prime. That smells a little high. What kind of taste do you have? Says in a vague way, tropical punch. You just got back from the Maldives. Taking it in smells like perfume. What is that? Chuck Schumer, who is the leader of the Senate's minority, wants the FDA to look into whether the FDA is marketing the very famous Prime energy drink to kids. The company also makes a drink with no caffeine. It is known as Prime Water. Senator Schumer says that the ads and packages for the two drinks are very similar. The people who make Prime say that the sticker says it's not for kids under 18 years old. While the problem with the quality of the products was still getting worse, was sucked into another shocking incident. Logan Paul sued Mayes Plus, a sports drink brand that worked with Lionel Messi, in June 2024, saying that they copied his bottle design. But in response, Messi's team and the Marc Anthony brand sued Prime in federal court, saying that it slandered them and competed unfairly with them. An outside poll showed that 87% of people didn't mix up the two names, which goes against what Logan said. There was a lot of anger online, and foreign news outlets called it a legal campaign to kill creativity. This made Prime a public enemy of fairness and new ideas. As problems kept happening and people lost trust, Prime's finances fell apart. In the first half of 2024, sales in the UK fell by 70% and in the US they were cut in half. Profits almost went away. Reps for Prime tried to play it down as a normal drop after all the excitement, but a $67 million lawsuit from partner Refresco because Prime broke a production contract by not meeting targets showed a more serious truth. They grew too quickly, got demand wrong, and couldn't keep their promises. An analyst said, "It's like Supreme for drinks that get too much attention and end up being unwanted." A bad plan from the start was the cause of the crash. Prime was advertised as healthy, but it wasn't clear whether it was aimed at sports, kids, or adults. Its simple formula, which is mostly potassium water and sucralose, couldn't compete with well-known names like Body Armor, which had worked for years to build their reputation before Coca-Cola bought them. At the same time, Prime sought reckless growth, flooding the market with flavors, making it too full, and turning customers off. It was said that Prime sales dropped sharply, and pictures of bottles piling up on clearance shelves became a sad sign of the brand's decline. The deadly flaw of Prime was that it was linked to Logan Paul and KSI. Their fame led to early success, but it also limited what they could achieve. Logan bragged that Prime's bold campaigns were crushing rivals, but experts told him the truth. A doctor said, When a brand is built on celebrity endorsements and marketing stunts instead of quality, it falls apart when the spotlight goes away. Logan's hints that he wanted to be bought out by Coca-Cola or Pepsi now seem far away. No one wants to catch a falling knife, especially a brand that is being sued, having sales drop, and having its image ruined. Body Armor does well because it has good distribution and stable quality. On the other hand, Prime is fighting with its own bottling partner. But Prime has lost more than money, it has lost trust. Prime used to be a rebellious artistic icon, but now it's just another example of how the media can control people so that marketing takes over and promises aren't kept. There is no sports drink that can wash away broken hopes. And no effort can bring back trust once it's gone. Prime Hydration and Logan Paul's plans to build a billion-dollar business fell apart. Not just because of the numbers, but also because of the way he ran it. Logan Paul's story isn't just about how he lost his fame. It's a criticism of the shallow way people succeed in the digital age. A time when one viral video can make someone famous, followers are used to measure impact, and investments are made based on flash rather than substance. Logan is not just a person who failed. He shows that people who think fame is a gift and not a duty have the wrong idea. Logan used to be the face of the self-made generation. He had great media skills, great chances, and a huge fan base ready to back any project he worked on. Touched. But he didn't use his power to build something lasting. Instead, he cut corners and let hype take the place of ideals. Being honest stopped people from making quick money, and fans' trust was seen as something that could always be used. He didn't fail because he wasn't good enough, he failed because he didn't have the morals that a content author, community leader, and influential voice needs. We often mix up getting attention with making something useful in a world where a tweet can change the market and a TikTok can sell out of stock in 5 minutes. Logan Paul is a bad example. Attention isn't the same thing as trustworthiness, and going viral doesn't mean something will last. A few ads helped him sell NFT eggs. He sold a lot of good bottles with a flashy TikTok event. But both fell apart quickly, not because of the market but because they were not moral. The plan behind a product can make it fail. If people can't trust the founder of a brand, it fails. That's the tragedy for Logan Paul. Not because he made one mistake, but because he kept making them, refused to take responsibility, fix them, and admit when he did something wrong. The public sees him not only as someone who made a mistake but also as someone who doesn't care about the results. That's not only illegal, but also wrong. CryptoZoo and Prime didn't fail because of bad technology, they failed because they made claims but didn't follow through. Logan not only lost respect as a creator, but he also made millions of people less sure they could tell the difference between truth and lies online. He has made it harder to say who we can trust. In a world where leaders are more about selling than inspiring, this is especially true. This is a lesson in trusting carefully for everyone, but especially for kids. Consumers need to be careful, check information, and ask, does this person really understand what they're promoting? In a world where digital flash can play with our feelings, does this present a chance or is it just a performance? It is easy to break trust and very hard to get it back once it has been broken. Logan Paul is a useful dark mirror for people who want to be YouTubers, podcasters, or company founders. Real success doesn't come from fancy edits, viral pranks, or big investments at the start. It comes from being honest, keeping your word, and not running away when you make a mistake. Being kind is the only thing that can't be faked in a world where everything can be set with a quick edit. A lot of people can hear you, but you start to lose everything when you treat them like numbers instead of people. To sum up, Logan Paul might still come back, but it won't be through the next product, the next ad campaign, or the next move. It won't happen until he really gets it. Fame doesn't give you power. That's a promise. And promise to be kind. A promise to tell the truth. A promise to serve the group you've chosen to lead. In the end, there's one thing that you should remember, it's an old truth that will always be true. The more power you have, the more duty you have. The light won't help you if you're not strong enough to handle it. You'll get burned out.